Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Gabby Hour. I'm your host, Gabby Giselle, and today's podcast episode, oh, baby. This one is going to be for all the girlies who grew up in the 2000s, 2010s. You were doing quizzes to find out which One Direction member would be your boyfriend. You were taking, what were those? Can't remember the magazine, but those quizzes where you would try and find out like your color or which one of the five sauce boys would date you. Yeah, you're going to want to like buckle in and join this episode because today we're going to be reading the fan fiction that I wrote as a tween who was obsessed psychotically, emotionally with boys who will never know that I exist. Truly, honestly, the level of crazy I attained in these years of my life, unattainable. Truly, I don't think that I could ever return back to this level of psychosis. But hey, today we're going to try. So, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is the most unhinged, the most open, honest, cringy place on the internet. If you like to yap, this podcast is also going to be for you because, baby, it's okay. You can go ahead and take a seat, calm down, sit back, grab you a little water, a little drinky drink, maybe even a sweet treat, and enjoy today's podcast episode because it is my turn to yap for you. Oh boy. Today I want to give you guys a little bit of an idea first before we dive into this of, just really the crazy obsession I had with One Direction boys, with the Five Sauce Boys, but specifically with Harry Styles at the age of, 12. Literally, I don't know, but like maybe 12. Okay. I was psychotically obsessed with these boys, okay? And who are these boys? If you're like, Gabby, I don't know who that is, seriously, like, get a grip on like pop culture for the love of God. But really quick, if you don't know who One Direction is, they're basically a British boy band of 5 members, okay? A year before they stopped touring and stopped making music, it was 4. We'll get into that lore. But when I tell you these boys had me in a literal chokehold, I'm not joking. I'm literally like not joking at all. Okay, so just they were discovered on, I think, like Britain's Got Talent or some shit like that, some show. And in this show, they would take like all these talents, right? And they would have auditions, and then you get to go in person and all this stuff. Like, if you don't know how it works, I don't know. Like, please crawl out from under that rock, okay? Because it's seriously sad. But what happened with these boys is that Simon Cowell, literally, okay, he didn't used to look like that. This is what he used to look like. But he was the god of finding talent, figuring out what groups should go together. He discovered so many people, okay? One Direction, Little Mix, like all of these different people. At least I think he discovered Little Mix. I'm not 100% sure, but this was the era of boy bands, okay? This was the era of get a bunch of cute boys and a bunch of teenage girls to go crazy over them because that's really good for business, apparently. I don't know when that stopped being a thing, but I'm going to go ahead and assume it's when One Direction disbanded, okay? Because I haven't seen a boy group besides K-pop. K-pop is out there, okay? They're a whole other breed. I never was into it. I don't understand the K-pop thing. It's not my favorite. If it's yours, cool. I love that for you, girly pop. But today we're going to be talking about just the absolute psychotic obsession many young women and girls had with One Direction, okay? Because Simon Cowell decided to put all these boys together. He was like, you know what? You and you and you and you are going to be a group. And we're going to put you together and you're going to battle against these other people. Like, it's a huge thing. I actually, fun fact, before I even knew who One Direction was, I saw Harry Styles audition on TV. And I remember this vividly because I remember being like, why is he wearing a scarf? Like, why is he wearing a scarf? If you're not watching this on video, you're just missing out. But like, here's the picture of the scarf. It was definitely a scarf. It was out there. Okay, he wasn't hiding that scarf. He said, you know what? I am loud and proud about my little scarf. Okay, and you guys are gonna love it. You're gonna eat it up. And we did. I was at my friend Brianna. I don't know if she's gonna see this. I haven't seen her since I was literally a kid, but her family owned a house on my street that they would come visit during spring break. And so they'd come for like 2 weeks during spring break, and they would live in this house, which was her grandmother's house. And me, her, and then my best friend growing up, Chelsea, would all hang out, okay? And one night I was at her house, and we were like sitting there eating dinner and like watching the TV, and they're like, oh, this is like a talent show, whatever. And I am Hispanic, so we didn't watch that in my house. Like, that was not what was going on at my house. So I was like, okay. Then I see this little scrawny boy go up there with his cute little curly hair, and he had the scarf on. And I was like, oh, okay, period. But I didn't think anything of it until years later, probably like 2 years later, where I was like, oh my God, I'm obsessed with One Direction, this, that, and the other. Okay. And if you guys remember Andrea, who was my friend growing up, okay, that's not her real name. I'm not going to say her real name. But the other day, fun fact, I actually saw that she also saw my podcast TikTok, and I think she liked one of my podcast videos on TikTok. So, hey, girl. Hey, sorry, I didn't mean to like air out our middle school drama, but it was really good content, so love you. But but Andrea was obsessed with One Direction, and I was kind of like, I don't know about them, blah 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 blah. And then I saw Harry Styles, ooh, and I was like, okay, I'm locked in. I'm here for it. Okay. She was like, no, you have to just like listen to their music and watch their music videos, and so we did, right? And I remember everybody was like a Harry girl at that point. Everybody was a Harry girl. Tumblr was like just covered in Harry Styles edits and videos and all these things, right? Like black and white pictures of Harry, like just the craziest shit, right? Like everybody knew that Harry had 3 nipples, which is not true. He really just has a birthmark on his stomach that everybody thought was a nipple. It literally, like, I used to know the day Harry Styles was born, the time he was born, the city he was born in. I used to know like his middle school English teacher's fucking last name. Like, I knew everything and anything that you could think about Harry Styles. Okay, like anything about him that was available and public on the internet, and even some things that probably shouldn't have been, I knew. Okay, but me, I'm not like other girls, so I was like, I'm not going to be a Harry girl. I'm going to be a self-proclaimed Zayn girl, because I also thought Zayn was giving me like bad boy energy. Something about that skunk strip was really doing it for me. And yeah, I just decided that he was the love of my life. And for years, okay, throughout like middle school, I was like, Zayn. But it was really forced, because I'm going to tell you what, I have always been and will always be a Harry girl. Okay, like Harry Styles was my lock screen on every device. Okay, I put him as my lock screen on my mom's iPad. Okay, it wasn't even mine, it was my mother's, and I made Harry Styles her lock screen, so that way every time I went to her phone and logged in, it was Harry Styles. Okay, my mom's laptop, because by this point my mom had like gotten a MacBook or something like that. She had like, you could have different users, right? And the one for me, Harry Styles. My social media profiles, like my Facebook and my Instagram, Harry Styles. All over my Instagram, I had a Harry Styles fan account. I had a Harry Styles fan account on Tumblr, and I wrote Harry Styles Fanfiction. This is where the video gets really exciting, okay? Because the other day I was talking about fan fictions, and if you don't know, we're going to pull up the fan fiction Urban Dictionary definition, because I don't think that this is like an actual word. I think it's made up. But this is what Urban Dictionary says is fan fiction. Fan fiction is when someone takes either the story or characters or both of a certain piece of work, whether it be a novel, TV show, movie, etc., and create their own story based on it. Sometimes people will take characters from one movie and put them in another, which is called a crossover. And most people who bash fan fiction are not willing to look past the fact that it's based on something else to see that it could be worth reading if you like the subject. If they don't like the subject, then they're obviously going to automatically dismiss the fan fiction. It says, it is true, however, that some fan fictions are rather poorly written and only a few hundred words. And it is also true that some people just write them so they can have their favorite characters have sex. But if you take the time to find something decent, you can end up with a fan fiction story that is so close to the original piece of art that you barely notice the difference. I feel like that's good. But let me tell you, this person failed to mention fanfics about people who are just famous, like just anybody famous, okay? Like there are Justin Bieber fan fictions, there are politician fanfics. Girl, do you know how many fanfics there are of Bernie Sanders? One too many. Yeah. Love him, but not that much. Do you know what I'm saying? So there used to be just this this whole space on the internet, okay? And also, if you guys were not growing up back then, let me explain to you this beautiful thing that came to be about, which was like a Pinterest wannabe called We Heart It. And We Heart It. Okay, also, if you guys know what Lemonade is, which is basically if like Pinterest and TikTok had a baby, it's owned by TikTok or ByteDance. But if TikTok and Pinterest had a baby, it'd be Lemonade, okay? The inspo for Lemonade, I'm sure, came from something like Pinterest, which, honest to God, Pinterest was not a big thing in my life until We Heart It got taken down. And I'm being serious. We Heart It has been taken down. It does not exist anymore, okay? I think that I tried to look it up for this podcast episode, and it literally just came up like their old website, which has nothing on it anymore, which is so unbelievably sad to me. I don't know about to you guys, because if you weren't using it, you weren't using it. But basically, on We Heart It, you could have like things like categories that you liked, right? So like One Direction, fan fiction, books. Like these were mine. Like trigger warning. I was on Anna. We Heart It. I was on Anna Tumblr. I was on there. We're not gonna get into that this episode, but just know like that level of hardcore fans of like following eating disorder posts and tips was the same people, mostly, not all, obviously, that were in love with Harry Styles to the point of deciding, hey, I'm going to write a YN fanfic. And if you don't know what that means, it means your name, which basically means that any time that Harry or any character in the book says the name of the main character whose point of view it's from, or talks about the character, the female main character, love interest, they would put YN, which meant you just plug in your name while you're reading. So like, let's say if Harry Styles in this fan fiction is saying, hey, I love you so much, it would read like, hey, YN, I love you so much, but I would read it as, hey, Gabby, I love you so much. Yeah, that's the level of like psychosis that we were at, okay? I don't know how to explain it to you. If you weren't there, you weren't there. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. But just bear with me because this makes for such good content a decade later, okay? A decade. Is that a decade? Yeah, 10 years is a decade. I think so. Anyways, so people would take Harry Styles. I'm just going to use him because this is what I read mostly. And they would write fanfics. And I still remember the name of some of my favorite fanfics, okay? The biggest fanfic for me that I knew of was After by Anna Todd, okay? And After by Anna Todd was a fan fiction about a girl. Don't even remember her name. I don't know. I couldn't tell you, okay? Because she wasn't important. But she was like shy girl, bookworm. She goes off to college and she has a very controlling mother, and she has a boyfriend who's a year younger than her, so he's still in high school, and she's very like conservative, and she wears flats, not heels, and she wears long dresses and long skirts, not short dresses. She doesn't wear lace, she doesn't wear black, she wears, pink and like soft colors, and she's, just literally just like a good girl meets a bad boy. This is so fucking embarrassing, but my God, it literally overtook every ounce of my brain is coded, and like I think that I have been chemically changed forever because of fan fictions. Because let me tell you, she goes to college. She has a college roommate that's kind of like free-spirited. Her name is, couldn't tell you, but I know there's one bitch in that book named Molly, and I hate her ass. I fucking hate her ass. Okay? And and I'm not gonna lie, this makes for really great storytelling. Like, honest to God, the plot was pretty fucking good. Like, the whole plot was actually pretty damn fucking good. Like, you know, nice, sweet girl goes to college and like discovers all these things and like starts to come out of her shell and realizes that her mother's extremely controlling and like comes into herself. Like, could it have been done better? Yes. And I'm sure there are stories that have been done way better, but with the same plot. But I'm telling you right now, something about Harry Styles getting her to just like stand up to her mother. Oh, that was it for me. That did it. That really did it. Okay. And basically, Harry is the son of the dean of this school, and he lives in a frat house. Now, he's not like a frat boy. He's different than the other frat boys. But Harry has a troubled past. And we learn about that as the story goes. And I won't like absolutely ruin it for you if this sounds like something you might want to read. But basically, he meets her because she accidentally like runs into his room at a party, like trying to get away from people. And he finds her in there and he's like, get out of my room. And like, he's low-key kind of like toxic and like horrible. And it's not a really great representation of what a healthy, good relationship should be, but it made for great fanfic. Okay. And I need you to know, fanfics are not supposed to be great examples. They are like the equivalent of like, the romanticities that are popular on TikTok, or, you know, like Powerless and stuff, where it's like, okay, like all vibes, no plot, but like the man, you know, should have just let you, like, it's not a great example of a good, healthy relationship. So don't look for that. And probably was it damaging to me and my idea of love as a 13-year-old? Maybe, but not really. Not really, because he changes by the end of the third book. Okay. He becomes better. It takes literally. Okay. And also, let me just explain to you the scenery of Wattpad, like how it works. Okay, Wattpad is the app where there's also AO3, but I was not an AO3 girl. I feel like AO3 was for the people who were actually like good at writing. And now I say that loosely because I don't know, but from what I've seen and heard, a lot of published books today came from AO3 and a lot from Wattpad as well. But AO3 seems to be where like the actual writers were at. I don't know anything about AO3. Don't ask me about it. I no idea. But Wattpad was an app that you could download on your iPhone, so I was on it. Okay? I feel like AO3 was also for people who were probably like in their teens or late teens during the One Direction era and like the fan fiction come up. I was not. I was in my tweens. Okay? So I was on Wattpad. And what these writers would do is you would put a cover photo, right? Typically a black and white picture of Harry Styles with some like smoke and some like black text or red text, or like a picture of a city and like two people sitting on a ledge. Like, we were making the shit on like PicMonkey. Okay, it was sophisticated for the time. Nowadays Canva could just do better, and we know this, but PicMonkey was where it was at back then. Okay. And so what these authors would do is that they would upload a chapter, and they would put like at the end of the chapter, they would put something like, oh, like I'll be uploading next Thursday. Like my next upload will be Thursday. My next upload will be Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Right. And so every Tuesday at 7 p.m. you would be waiting for that shit to drop. You'd be like refreshing until that shit dropped. And then once it dropped, you were like, yes. Right. So like getting a notification that your favorite fanfic dropped a new chapter, I would assume is equivalent to doing ecstasy. I've never done ecstasy, but I bet if I did, it would feel the exact same way as that. Okay? There's a fly running around, so if you guys see it, just ignore it. Just ignore it, okay? I don't know. And so After was one of those. I think that by the time I was like super into After, she was like at the end of like finishing her first book, like complete, right? So I remember I discovered it, and you could like save them and then like read them later and stuff, or like save them and then keep like up with them, and you could turn the notifications on. You could follow writers and creators and stuff on there, kind of like how you do on like a Substack, except it's free. And man, when I tell you, After was really popular. Dark was one of my really popular ones. I think Broken was another one. God, I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, there was one called Royalty, which was like a girl who was like a princess to some like random ass country, tiny ass country, and then like he's her bodyguard, I think. Kind of like Twisted. What was the one by Anna Wang? I have it over here. Twisted Games. Kind of like Twisted Games, where she's like a princess and he's like her bodyguard. At least I think that was the premise. But man. And so in these fanfics, okay, the other boys would show up. So like in After, Harry was like the bad boy and like blah, 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 blah. And he wouldn't hang out with his frat. He'd hang out with these other dudes. Or like some of the dudes did live in the frat house, but they weren't like frat boys. You know what I'm saying? So they meet at that party when she like walks into his bedroom, and then there is like a game of like truth or dare or something like that, and they dare her to kiss him or whatever, and I think they end up kissing. I don't remember. Okay, I really don't remember, but they end up falling in love. He ends up like being super toxic. And if you guys have ever read the Ravenhood series, okay, this is exactly the exact same premise, just a different sort of story. But essentially, at the party after Tessa, oh, that's her name, Tessa. Her name is Tessa. I remembered. See, my brain is still sharp sometimes. And Tessa leaves this party. And after she leaves this party, they're still playing Truth or Dare. And fucking Molly's bitch ass, who's obsessed with Harry. And her and Harry had a thing and they were hooking up. But he was like, I don't actually like you. You're not wifey material. Tessa's wifey material, okay? Period. Molly and her pink ass hair. Stupid hoe. Sorry. I still hold like, honestly, like I still hold like beef with Molly. Like to this day, I will never forget this bitch. But basically, not to like low key spoil the entire first book for you, but like I promise you, you'll still like it if you were like, if you are open to this sort of book, you're still gonna like it, okay? But basically, at that party, the first time they meet, okay, they're doing Truth or Dare, and she admits that she's a virgin or something. I don't know. And Molly's bitch ass dares Harry to find a way to make her fall in love with him and take her virginity. All for a dare, okay? Harry being the piece of shit he was in the first book, and probably all three of the books, honestly, if we're being honest, I would never date a man like this. But him being the piece of shit that he was, he took the dare. And he starts to like date Tessa and they fall in love. And then later on, he like kind of tries to like take her, and he like actually falls for her. So he tries to put her in this like bubble where they are like, they move into the same apartment, they're like falling in love, blah 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 blah. There's drama with her mom. She's obviously cheated on her boyfriend, and then like they break up, and then she moves in with him or something, and they're grabbing food at this one place, right? And he's like, oh, I'm here grabbing food or something like that. I honestly don't remember. Or she just like walks in somewhere to get food. And she sees Molly. And Molly's now all over Zane because of course she is a stupid bitch. She's all over Zane and her sitting there eating. And she's like, oh, like I haven't seen you in a while. She's like, yeah, like Harry and I just moved up the street. We live in this apartment. She's like, oh, you live together? I didn't think that would happen because your whole entire relationship has been a sham based off of dare that I gave him a couple months ago. So here you go, bitch. And like that scene where she's like walking out of the restaurant and she sees him, right? She sees him on her way out and she's like broken and shattered. Like I remember sobbing at that because let me tell you also, I used to reread fanfics. So I've read After probably 6 times all the way through, and mind you, there's probably 300 pages or no, 300 chapters in each book. I'm just saying them shits were long, okay? And like chapters back then were more of like 2 or 3 pages or like 5 to 6 pages worth of stuff, okay? So like imagine like 100 chapters. Did I say 300? I meant 100. These books used to be like 100 chapters. So imagine me reading 300 chapters of this shit 6 times over. It's ingrained in my memory, okay? This scene where she finds out that her whole entire relationship has been a sham. Oh, it is gut wrenching. I used to reread this on like family trips. I'd be sitting there like with my little iPhone 3, like on dark mode, and I'd be like sobbing under the blankets, okay? Family vacation, I'm sobbing. It's 3 a.m., okay? And I've already read this scene 6 times, okay? So that's just like the plot-ish of like the first book, okay? Then it like goes on and there's more things that happen, more complications. We find out about Harry's past, why he's so fucked up, all this shit. Really, really good book, in my opinion, okay? And after reading that, of course, I used to write short stories as a kid. I used to love writing short stories. I used to write a lot of books and things like that, but I would like start them and then not finish them. So when fan fictions came around, I hadn't written in a while. I've read a couple of these, and by a couple I mean at least 100 different fan fictions. And oh man, I decided to take it upon myself and write my own. So today, we're going to be reading my fan fiction, okay? And when I tell you, I need you guys to go look at my fan fiction page, okay? My fan fiction on Wattpad, my page on there is called harry.xo.xo. My profile picture and like the banner is the picture I took of Harry Styles at the first concert I've ever been to, and the first Harry Styles concert I've ever been to in Sunrise, Florida. I was front row. I was literally like on the rail, and I had a fan interaction. Both times I've been to a Harry Styles concert, by the way, I've had a fan interaction. I can't remember what the first one was. I'm going to be honest with you. I was just going to tell the story. Now I can't remember it. I forgot what it was, but I found a clip of it on YouTube, and if I can find it again, I will send it to you guys. Or I will put it here, or I'll post it on like my TikTok or something. But these pictures are from that concert. And I don't even think I still have these pictures on my phone. So, like, I'm never changing them. I'm leaving this exactly how it is. But I have a published story. I have 6 chapters published on this story. And we're just going to read it. First of all, I need to show you guys the cover photo. It was called Stop. Wow. So creative. So creative. I really just was a literary genius. I mean, Simon & Schuster, if you want to publish, let me know. I'm available. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want more of this, let me know. Let me read you my so good. I uploaded my first. I love what it tells you when these chapters were uploaded, okay? September 27th, 2016, I uploaded my first chapter. Second chapter, June 7th, 2017. Mind you, June 7th is 3 days before my mother's birthday. 3 days before my mother's birthday, my priority was getting my chapters up, okay? Then, December 9th, December 24th. I was like, okay, I got to grind this out. December 28th, January 29th, 2018. 2018? I don't even think that one's published. Ooh, that one's a draft. It's not even published yet, you guys. Crazy. But let me read you the description of this. And you used to like post trigger warnings, like if there was talk of like eating disorders or, sewer slide or, just all these other things. And this is the shortest description I think I've ever seen for a book. Blair goes off to college, secretly glad to escape her past. On her first day, she meets quite a few people who will soon turn her world upside down. Like, okay, bitch, calm the down, okay? I was 15 writing that, just so you know. Warning, talk of eating disorders and other triggering topics. What are the triggering topics? The point of a trigger warning is to put the triggering topics. I was clearly going through something. Me, all rights reserved, clearly. And then the tags on this are college, fan fiction, Harry Styles, love, and One Direction. I needed the fans. I needed the girlies to find my story. I needed them to know I was going to be famous. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and read chapter 1. I don't think it's very long. Mind you, it shows me that 11 people have read this. 11 people in the entire world have read this. If you've read this, you need to let me know right now. Or I might just be all 11 people, because I don't know about that. I don't know about 11 people reading my story. That's crazy. Water break. I'm so excited for this. Ready? We're going to read this together. You know I'm going to miss you, right? Like a lot. Yes, I know. You've been telling me this for 3 hours. I love Cassie, but but I'm not lying. She literally has repeated the same two sentences for the past 3 hours straight. I might not seem like it, but I really am going to miss her. But I'm just going to be 5 hours away. We'll visit each other. Wow, I didn't know what a comma was, clearly, because damn. Just making sure, because I want you to know that I'm here for you, always. Even when you're across the state line away at college, I've been here through it all, and I'm staying whether you like it or not. She really has been there ever since my dad died last summer. My mom is too high on whatever antidepressant she's on to even care for me. Oh my God, what was I doing? Cassie has been there with me. I know you love me, and I love you too, but seriously, stop with all that depressing stuff. It's not fun. What a great sentence. Okay, well, now that I'm done being the sad best friend, it's time to be the mother. So are you ready and packed? Did you eat? Did you bring your headphones for the plane ride? I laugh at her, but still answer with yeses. Yeses? Yeses. Yes. Apostrophe S. I respond with yeses. Okay. Soon it's time to head to the airport. ... I shouldn't want to leave so badly, but I do. Well, I guess this is it. Make sure you text me when you get there and send me pics of your dorm. She's trying not to cry, and I can tell. I love you, all right? And don't do anything stupid while I'm gone, and try not to get kicked out of your own school. We hug and say our last goodbye. This is crazy. The plane ride was only an hour and a half because UCLA, mind you, this is just a book about me. This is a book about me, except my dad didn't die and my mom is now on antidepressants, okay? Because I wanted to go to UCLA so bad. UCLA is only 5 hours away from home. I call a cab to take me to UCLA from the airport. When we pull up, I pay the driver and go up to admissions. Signing up and getting in took not long, but it could have been faster. Like, this is just the craziest thing. I also need you guys to know I didn't go to college, and I, at this point in my life, was debating going to college, and I used to watch those, like, move into my dorm with me YouTube videos. Like, they literally had me in a chokehold. So I think that this was just, like, me interpreting those and writing about it. Like, it also doesn't make any sense. Like, I pay the driver. Well, first of all, if your mom is on drugs, how do you have money to do all this? It's okay. Whatever. The dorms are good, and also, like, crazy to be complaining that it could have been faster. Like, okay. And the dorms are a good size. I room with 2 other girls, and we get a small kitchen and a small couch. The rest of my things won't arrive till tomorrow, but I do have things that fit in my luggage to decorate with. My room is clean, and I have a few pictures hanging and on a small nightstand. Okay. That's not correct sentence. My room is clean, and I have a few pictures hanging and on a small nightstand. So, or like, oh, okay, wait, I know what I was trying to say here. The pictures are hanging, and they're on my nightstand, which is small, by the way, if you couldn't tell. Everything in this room is small. It's not good enough. The process isn't fast enough. I'm really upset about this college that I don't actually go to. My stomach growls, and I head down the stairs to get some food. I think I saw Starbucks and a few other things. The girls I room with still aren't here, so I can have some alone time before I'm smothered with awkward silence. I decide on getting a bowl at Chipotle because I love Chipotle. As I'm eating, I start to get kind of lonely, so I text Cassie. Hey, I'm lonely. In all bold. So good. A few minutes pass and she doesn't respond, but I start to people watch and feel kind of weird doing it, but it's so much fun to give these people names and lives that I make up for them. This is something that I used to do a lot when I was a kid. One time I went on a trip to Chicago with my friend Chelsea, and literally my parents kept telling us to stop because we kept making up lives and stories for the people on the streets. And honestly, it's still one of my favorite pastimes. Sometimes I get rewarded for being a good person, and someone like the guy I'm staring at right now walks in. This is where he comes. He has long curly hair. He's wearing a white shirt and black skinny jeans. Of course, because the picture has to be like accurate to the story. It has to match. Hopefully he actually goes here and isn't just visiting. He looks up at me but doesn't do anything. I smile at him, but he just ignores me and looks back down at his phone. Well, there goes that. Even though he totally rejected me, there's something about him that I can't figure out, but I want to know him. I have a feeling, though, it's just my hormones. That happens a lot. Oh my god, this is so funny. I go back to my phone and food. Hey, sorry, I was eating dinner with Will and I left my phone upstairs. It's okay, I was just getting bored. Well, how did today go? I continue to tell her about my day, but it was boring. Eventually she has to go, and when I look up to throw away my trash, he's sitting right next to me, like right there. I bump into him and say sorry, but he just ignores me. I look around and there were plenty of seats to sit in, but he chose to sit next to me. Why? Typical, a man ignoring me. I really said right from the heart, because this is pretty accurate to what I experienced. I kind of get angry because he should have sat far, then I wouldn't have knocked into him, so technically it's his fault. You know, you could say excuse me. He turns and I see his dark green eyes. Or you could try not to be so clumsy. Oh, he has an accent. Hold on. Or you could try. I can't do the Harry Styles accent. Or you could try not to be so clumsy. I'm gonna crash out about this, you guys. There's just no way that I wrote this at 15 fucking years old. A fanfic about me, Blair, going to fucking college and meeting Harry Styles at a goddamn Chipotle because I love Chipotle. Can you tell Chipotle just had recently opened in my city? He has an accent and oh god, the feels are real. But he's a total jerk. I turn to throw my trash away and head up to my dorm. When I get back, there are two girls sitting on the small couch watching TV. When the door shuts behind me, they both look over at me. One has bright blonde hair and bright blue eyes. The other has purple and blue ombre hair. She has piercings on her eyebrows and lips. Hey. Hi, I'm Blair. Nice to meet you. I smile back at them. So just like didn't conclude that interaction with Harry Styles. I just kind of like walked away and went back up to my dorm room because it's totally normal to have that kind of an altercation with somebody and just end it there. Because that's just, that makes sense. Come on, we're watching Elf. She grabs my hand and guides me over to the couch. Well, I'm going to change first. They nod their heads, not tearing their eyes from the screen. So no awkward silence, but the piercings are kind of cool, I guess. As for the blonde, I hope she brought something to calm her nerves because she's obviously intimidated by the other's piercings. I change into shorts and a large t-shirt. It's my favorite because it's Ty's. He gave it to me before he left for FSU down in Florida. Of course I had more, but this one had a strong scent still lingering. So basically I'm just ripping off of After's whole entire concept. Girl goes to college, has a boyfriend already, shitty fucking family life, meets Harry Styles at a Chipotle. Copy paste, you know what I'm saying? When I return to the living room, the girl with the blue hair gets up. Finally, we can get this party started. She goes over to the fridge and pulls out a bottle of vodka. Yup, I like her. Miss Blondie over here couldn't look more uncomfortable. I almost ask for her name before a loud indie rock song begins to play. She puts down the vodka and picks up her phone. Harley, who's this? She answered with a bit of an attitude. Oh shit, I totally forgot, but I'm cracking it open with my new roomies. She smirks at us. If you wanted to join us. No, they're not lame. I don't think. ... They are not bangable. ... Hold on. What are your names? Of course, she just happens to have a edgy ass roommate who is friends with Harry. And she calls him Has. Because, nothing was crazier than, being on Harry Stan Twitter in, 2014 and knowing that his friends call him Has or Haza or Haza. I don't even know if that's true, but it was just a thing that everybody did. And, if you called him Has, it was yeah, I know people call him Has. Ew, you make me want to vomit. And then they say, Blair, Crystal. Yeah, did you get that? Whatever, you pervert. Are you coming up or not? KK, I'll see you in 10. She turns to us and smiles an apologetic smile. So my friend Harry is coming up in a few, if that's okay with you. I nod, not really caring about this guy because he made me think of the guy at Chipotle. Stop. Blair, you have Ty. Think about how great he is. Crystal, on the other hand, wasn't so confident in her nod. Great. And then it's like, this is how you like broke up scenes. It's like you would put like dash, like the M dashes, but like really tiny ones, like dash, 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 dash. A few minutes later, and the bottle of vodka was still taunting me unopened on the coffee table. Could this guy like hurry up or something? I'm in need of a release. The blue-haired girl's name is Harley, which I feel suits her well. Finally, a loud knock disrupts my thoughts, and Harley gets up to answer the door. I honestly don't care for this Harry guy. I just want to have a good time. I keep texting Cassie on my phone, completely ignoring this new guy. Hey, Haz, this is Blair and Crystal. Cool, so where's the bloody booze? The raspy accent sounded familiar, and I was taken aback when I looked up to see the guy from earlier. Damn it. Oh my god, I'm so gross. Where's the bloody booze? Like, okay, calm the down, you horny 15-year-old. Ugh. And then, okay, so that's the end of the first chapter. And then there's like an author's note. So this is what they used to do sometimes on Wattpad, is they would put like a playlist for you to listen to in the background while you read the story, because like it makes total sense to like look up this playlist and then like search up each song, read, wait till the song ends, and then you search up the next song, keep reading, and then like, because that makes total sense. I don't know. It was just a thing that people did. I didn't do that here, but then they would put like author's notes, and this was like where you could say like, hey, you know, like, hope you guys enjoyed this updated chapter, right? But this is my first chapter, right? So it says, first author's note on my first story ever. So definitely vote if you liked it or just a nice person. And so you could like vote for your like stories that you liked, and then you could like, then the algorithm would push them upward. So it's kind of like upvoting on Reddit. So like people's posts would get seen more. It's like that, but with fan fiction. It says, also leave any corrections, because the more I learn, the better the story, and that benefits us all. Plus, you should definitely check out my library of books to see what I'm reading and where I'm getting my inspiration from. Yeah, babe, you're copying pasting After by Anna Todd, but whatever. Thanks for reading. P.S. I have no idea who to cast as Blair. I was thinking Selena Gomez, but I feel like that's too overdone. Comment your ideas. Also, I just want to note that like I know I named her Blair because of Gossip Girl. 100% I named her Blair because I was obsessed with Gossip Girl, and I still am 100%, but man, I really couldn't pay me to have a creative bone in my body apparently, so that's good to know. Should we read another chapter? I think we should read another chapter. I think we have to see where this story goes. I don't remember any of it, honestly. So chapter 2 has less views. Obviously, people who watched or who read chapter 11 weren't impressed, and that's okay. So it has 4 views, but at the beginning says, second chapter. Honestly, don't even know if the story is good or if anyone is reading it, to be honest, but I'm still gonna write. Anyways, enjoy. You definitely did right. You definitely did. Good job. Okay, so this picks up like right after the last chapter ends. I had been trying to avoid eye contact since he showed up, but that was getting harder and harder because of the vodka. Harley and him were racing to see who could take 7 shots fastest, and after her phone rang, all it took from the conversation was that her friend Zane was coming over with more people and alcohol. Honestly, don't even care as long as they bring more vodka. Why would you put an exclamation point there? Wow, I'm more gone than I thought. I'm more gone than I thought. This was in 2017 that I uploaded this chapter. I was 16 at the time. I was definitely smoking weed at this point, and I think that this was me. Like, that's what you used to say is like, dude, I'm f***ing gone. Like, ugh, disgusting. I'm so cringy. Hey, I heard the British accent speak again, but I don't look up. You. I see him point at me out of the corner of my eye, so I look up to him. I never noticed his green eyes before. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You just said dark green eyes. They're like perfect. They're like the perfect shade. Not bright, but a crystal jade color. Haven't I met you before? I shrug and look down at the remaining contents of my glass. I have met you, downstairs at the Chipotle. What is your name? He was interrupted by a loud knock on the door. Harley opened the door to reveal two guys fairly tattooed and attractive. Louis was all I could find. Everyone else was busy decorating their dorms. Thank God we don't have to live in the small dorms this year, right, Haz? Harry just nodded, keeping his eyes focused on me still. Because of course his eyes would be focused on you, bitch. The bitch who was rude to him at Chipotle. We brought the goods. Oh my God, my literal tween brain was exploding. I thought I was being so creative and so good, okay? Harry just nodded, keeping his eyes focused on me still. We brought the goods. Zane held up beer, and Louis held up more vodka. I looked over at Harry, but he sharply turned his head the other way because I almost caught him staring. You did. You caught him. Harley got up from her place on the couch and kissed Zane. Well, I guess they're together. Blair, this is Zane and that's Louis. I waved and said hi. Zane sat with Harley on the couch and Louis sat with me on the floor, so close our shoulders and knees were pressed against each other. I'm not mad about it, so I didn't move away. Another round of drinks were poured and the night went on. So, Blair, where are you from? You look like an LA girl. They're all very fit. Louis slurred his words a bit. Actually, I'm from San Diego. I don't think San Diego is 5 hours from LA, but I could be wrong. I feel like it's probably like a 6-hour drive, but I'm not sure, so I'm not going to speak on it. Ah, so you like to party, right? I simply shrugged in response, not feeling this conversation anymore. I felt eyes on me, and when I looked up, Harry was indeed staring. All he did was smirk and offer me the bottle of vodka. I took it gladly. How could one being be so wonderfully attractive? And those full lips. Oh God, B, get it together. No, literally, B, get it together. Bitch, get it together. What are you talking about? Literally, bitch, like, get it together. Please, for the love of fucking God, what are you talking about? His full lips? You make me want to vomit. Truly. Blair, that's an interesting name. God, I love the way my name sounded on his tongue. Yeah, I guess. You guess? Blair, stop being weird. He's so cool. You should be too. He's so cool. You should be too is the craziest sentence to have ever been written in the year of our Lord 2017. I'm truly just disturbed at what 16-year-old me was really just doing here because, ew, his full lips. Blair, that's an interesting name. God, I love the way my name sounded on his tongue. Yeah, I guess. You guess? Blair, stop being weird. He's so cool. You should be too. Guys, we're going to go back to the house. We'll see you there. Zane and Harley get up and start to make their way to the door. House? They had a house? Yeah, we live off campus. It's Louis, Liam, Niall, Chase, and I. By the way, Harry, we're still looking for a roommate. If you're interested, let me know. But anyways, Chase is throwing a party over there tonight, so if you guys are down, you can follow us there. Zane seemed like a nice guy. I feel like Chase was one of the 5 Sauce Boys, or I could be wrong, but I think he was one of the 5 Sauce Boys. Says, yeah, sure, I'll come, but my car is being shipped here, so I can't drive there. Damn, I should really make sure it will be here soon. I want to know, she must be rich or must come from money. I don't know what my intended backstory for Blair is, but the fact that Blair has money to have all of her belongings shipped to LA, which is only a 5-hour drive away, if it's correct in this book, and she is having her belongings and a vehicle shipped, why wouldn't you just pack your car with all your things and drive it down? It makes no sense to me, truly. I can drive her, Harry offered. Because of course he did. Because of course Harry offers to drive Blair to this party. "Okay, cool. You know the way, so we'll just meet you there. You coming, Louie?" "Crystal, you can come too. We have space for more than one in Zane's car if you want." Harley was just trying to be nice since nobody had really spoken a word to Crystal since the boys arrived, but she shook her head no and went to her room. Louis jumped up to follow Zane and Harley before coming back for the bottle. Harry made no effort to get up, making it really awkward since he just offered to take me to this party. I looked over at him to find him on his phone. "Well," no response. "Are we going or not?" "Yeah, just give me a second." He seemed to not care that I was even in the room. "Okay, let's go." I followed him out the door and down the stairs to his car. Now that I saw his whole body, he was even more attractive. He wore black skinny jeans and a white t-shirt showing off some tattoos. You could tell he really liked his boots because they looked worn. Not the Chelsea boot. Not the Chelsea boot. Stop it, Blair. Ty is hot too. Don't forget it. The car was silent as we drove. At least till Harry broke the silence. "So, about earlier, I'm sorry that I was rude to you. I was just in a mood. I mean, I know that's no excuse to be disrespectful to a lady, but I just wanted to clear the air because my mom did raise me right." Wow, he sounded sincere, so I accepted his apology. First of all, you should be the one apologizing. You're the one who was an asshole to him, who decided to be an asshole to him. He didn't do anything. He sat next to you at a Chipotle, a public space, and you bumped into him, said you were sorry. He didn't say anything back to you, and you took that as an opportunity to be a fucking dick to him. I hate Blair. I hate this bitch. If I was reading this, which I guess I kind of am, like, it feels like I'm reading it for the first time because I don't remember writing this, but I would hate Blair. I'd be like, bitch, you're so fucking annoying. Ugh. It's all right. I get it. We all have those days where one thing goes wrong and everything pisses you off. I could see him turn to look at me out of the corner of my eye, so I turned to look at him. He had a goofy smile plastered on his face. "What? Why was he looking at me like that?" "Nothing. It's just you gave me the badass chick vibe. Like, stick it to the man kind of girl. I'm surprised you accepted my apology." The smirk on his face was enough to make me smile back at him. "Ugh, Miss Girl. You're so annoying. Like, so annoying." Me. "Well, if you're rude to me, I'll be rude back. But you apologize, so I won't be mean to you for no reason. And what's to say that I'm not badass? I am deeply offended." God, she is so annoying. Insufferable. Truly just disgusting. "Well, for one, you aren't wearing any leather, which is typical badass girl attire. Plus, you accepted my apology nicely. And lastly, you have this really big smile on your face that resembles a child, not a badass." Was I really smiling that big? I just laughed in response. Oh my God, this is so bad. And it keeps going on and on and on. This is insane. Oh, and then of course they play Never Have I Ever because this is just what they do in the fanfics. There's a party, all the One Direction boys are there. There's one innocent girl. There's all the other cool girls. Never Have I Ever, Truth or Dare, something of that sort. Somebody kisses somebody. There's sexual tension. There's alcohol. It just, of course, and just literally the worst. So, wow, just. And there's so much more, and like I will probably read it. I'm actually thinking of doing a video for my vlog channel where I read books that I loved as like a preteen and a teenager, and I've been compiling a list, and like Divergent, Hunger Games, Twilight, Maze Runner, anything by Ellen Hopkins, like Crank or Perfect are like my favorites. And then I was thinking of reading After by Anna Todd, and like maybe I'll just read my own fanfic for that video because wow, I was really out here writing. Like this chapter was a little bit longer than the other one, and it's just so funny. And like truly, if you have Wattpad or you're just curious, like go look at my Wattpad page. I have so many books saved on there. I do have 2 followers. Okay, so shout out Ari Curls for Days and Janet Fatica, because y'all bitches are my followers on there and you're my fans, and I appreciate your support for my book. that only has 5 published chapters. Anyways. No, literally anyways. Oh my gosh. I really hope that you guys are grateful for me embarrassing myself in public on the internet by reading my crazy psychotic fanfic that I wrote as a 15-year-old, because it's just, this took a lot for me to really come to terms with that I've done this. So, out of all the embarrassing things I've done on the internet, truly this is one of them. This is really one of them. And I'm not going to remove it. So, just saying. All right, you guys. This is pretty much it for the episode. I could honestly go on, and I really think that I want to do a podcast episode where I also talk about like 2010s, 2000s kids nostalgia stuff and like that core. You know, I've seen some posts recently of them, and it's like, it's one of those things where I could just talk about it forever, because I really think that like kids who were born between like 1997 and like 2002, 2003 are just like a whole separation of kid from Gen Z, because we still had a lot of like the cool shit that the 90s kids remember, but we also had all the cool shit that like the 2000s kids were too young to remember. You know, like we were older by then, so I don't know, just like that's something that I've wanted to do a video on for a while, but let me know if that's something you guys want. This week's Yuck and Yum, you guys, my yum for this week, we're going to start with my yum. I started doing this like super cool, so I listened to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder on Libby on audio, and it was so good. And honestly, like I really enjoyed the audiobook, because while I was doing the audiobook, I was doing one of those like diamond painting things. Like basically you get this mat, and the whole mat is sticky, and it has like these little symbols, and then each symbol, it matches to like these little diamond things. I'll show them to you. I literally have them right here because I was doing it last night. But they're like these little packs, and they have numbers attached, and those numbers equate to a symbol. And anywhere there's that symbol, you use like this little dotting thing to like put the little diamond things on there, and it makes like a picture. Like the one I have is of A Starry Night, and that has been my recent obsession. Just like listening to audiobooks and doing that is such an iconic activity. Truly the best thing. If you haven't done it yet, you should definitely try it. And I think I got it for super cheap. I think I got it for like $20 on sale at Joann's, because Joann's is closing down. So an iconic activity, truly. And my yuck for this week is adults who act like teenagers again. Okay. But honestly, it's mostly like adult women who talk shit about other people in public on the phone. And it's very specific, I know, but these are things that happen to me, like where random people will come into the shop, because like most of my day-to-day customers are really cool people. They're really awesome, and I love them to death, and like I owe them everything. But like every once in a while I get a stray that is just so weird and so off-putting that I feel the need to talk about it. And so there's this lady that came in like last week sometime, I forget when, but she came in last week, and she was on the phone. She walked in, already something that I hate when people do, but like she looked like she was in business or something, so I was like, oh, it must be a work thing. Nope, she's sitting there talking shit about so-and-so's kid that she had to watch because so-and-so wanted to drink even though she's a breastfeeding mom, and like I don't want to have to do that at every single function. And it's just like, dude, you are grown, for one. For two, like you're in public and people can hear you right now, and it's just like, God, I don't know what it is, but it's like, and it's always women aged like 40 to like 55, okay, that do this shit where they walk in public, they're on the phone, or they're like publicly with somebody else and they're talking shit. I also had this other lady who came in, and she came in with a group of friends. And one of her friends like saw a business card of one of my other customers and was like, oh my God, like so-and-so is here. Like, look, like blah, 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 blah. Like, oh, like maybe I should call her for my needs, for my whatever. I don't want to say exactly what it was, but they were like, if she's even doing it anymore because she quits everything and blah, blah, blah. And I was just kind of like, dude, you don't know if that's like my friend, and you're sitting here talking shit about my friend. putting her business card here. Like, it just it rubbed me so in the wrong way. And I'm like, you are a group of like women in their 40s. Like, are you joking? Like, how immature and gross do you have to be to do that shit? And especially do that shit in public where I've never met you. It's not like you're a regular here. It's not like we're comfortable yet. Like, you're just doing this in front of anybody. Like, ugh. Just a big absolute yuck for that one. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say this week, you guys. I wanted to come on here and read you guys my shitty little fanfic. If you want to read it yourself, I'll link it down below. Hell, I'll link it for you. But thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys' support on the podcast. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you turn on the notification bell. Make sure you check out my TikTok, my Instagram for the podcast, and also all my personals will be linked down below. I also have a vlog channel, like I mentioned earlier, where I post reading vlogs, lifestyle stuff. I live in Southwest Florida, so I'm posting a vlog tomorrow of me like going to the beach and all this fun stuff. So go check that out if you guys want to get to know me on a more like personal level. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Thanks for yapping with me. Thanks for listening to me yap. And I'll see you guys next Monday with another episode. I love you. Bye.